Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Ginny. Today I'm going to share with you this cute little wrap I made for these coffee flavored chocolates using the Mary Cafe stamp set from the holiday catalog. So let me put this aside and we'll get started. Okay, to create the wrap you're going to take a piece of 6" by 3" piece of cardstock. This happens to be Peekaboo Peach, and you're going to score it at 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 4 1/8, and then 4 5/8, and set that aside. You're going to take a piece of 6" by 2.5" piece of soft sky, and you're going to score the same places that you did on that Peekaboo Peach. So you're doing 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 4 1/8, and 4 5/8, and then you're ready to start assembling. I found that scoring these prior to putting them together made the project work a little easier, and so I'm going to take my soft sky and I'm going to add some adhesive to it and layer it on top of the Peekaboo Peach piece. And you can let that dry a second since it's the liquid adhesive. At that point I'm going to take it and I'm going to use my bone folder and score on these score lines. Because it's 2 pieces of cardstock, it's a little thicker, and you're going to want to make sure you have a sharp score line. So using your bone folder is great. And at this point I'm going to take my chocolates and I'm going to wrap my belly band around it, and I'm going to take my liquid adhesive, and really you want to put just the very little bit on this outside edge. I found the liquid was a little easier than the tear and tape only because of the measurements. At this point I'm going to adhere those, hold it for a few seconds to allow it to set up and dry a bit, and then I'm ready to move on to the next stage. Okay, so I've got my piece here, and at this point I'm going to use my Painted Autumn Designer Series paper. It's an absolutely gorgeous pack, and I have not scored this because it's Designer Series paper. I wanted to be able to add it and just bend it around the piece, allowing me to get an idea of where I want it and place it where it needs to go because of those double layers of cardstock. So at this point I'm going to simply take my fingers and fold that around the box and then line them up on the back and adhere. Okay, and you can take your fingers while you're drying here and kind of fold those lines so that it looks nice. Okay, at this point I'm ready to add my Pool Party's Baker twine, and I'm simply going to take a length of this and wrap it around my box and tie a bow. And I like to tie on the spool, but if you don't like to do that, that's fine. You can cut off a length that you're comfortable with and go ahead and start the process of tying that ribbon. And now that I've got it where I want it, I'm ready to snip and set that aside. And at this point I can move that bow where I want to. Okay, the next step, it's going to take a 1/2" piece of that same package of Designer Series paper and a little wrapper that I cut after I stamped out of the Peekaboo Peach using the framelits. I'm going to adhere the bottom of this onto the Designer Series paper, and then I'm going to snip this along the side here following the angle, add a little more adhesive across the top, and do the same thing. I found that this was easier than trying to measure and cut with the framelit die, but you can do this how you'd like. So I've got my wrap ready, and I can set that aside to dry. Now I've got my piece of Early Espresso cardstock cut for the little lid, and I've got my crumb cake cut, and I've already started stamping the outline design with the stamp set. And I'm getting ready to do the 2-step. I'm taking my leaf pattern here and I'm going to stamp that in Cajun Craze. I'm going to do that 4 times. And then I'm going to take the Peekaboo Peach and I'm going to stamp that little leaf image. And then I'm going to take the little dot image and I am going to sprinkle that along the bottom, and not doing it full strength all the time. I am stamping off in between. And then I'm going to add some Cajun Craze dots to that so that I've got a little bit of texture there at the bottom. And now I'm ready to take my belly band, attach it along with the lid, and get it ready to attach to my project with a couple of dimensionals. So let me show you that. Okay, so there we go, all finished. Let me show the original again. These are great little treats, I think, for anybody who's a coffee lover. If you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. It's open 24/7, and you can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. If you don't already have a local demonstrator, email me your name, address, and phone number, and I'll be happy to mail you a catalog. Thanks for joining me.